Doug Ford has been really explicit in why he's doing this, which is that too many kids are taking basket weaving courses and frittering away taxpayer money, and we're not seeing return on investment.
Back on Closer Look with Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media. I'm Scott Sexsmith. Derek Turner also present and accounted for this evening. All right, are we done on the hockey?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Everyone's still talking about how sad they are about Sunday. We got to move along. We ranted about it at the beginning of the show. I think the next Olympics in 4 years, right?
Yes.
If we're all still alive.
If we're all still
AI
alive.
hasn't taken over and is winning the 100-meter dash in 0.6 seconds.
All right, no more hockey. Just for the record, NHL resumes, Derek, tomorrow? Tomorrow night, NHL play.
There you go.
No more Olympics.
And spring training is in the air. I keep seeing, every time I turn on the TV, I see clips from Florida, Arizona.
Yes,
beautiful.
Actually caught some of the Jays game on Sportsnet.
It is
Saturday.
my favorite time of year.
I know it is.
Because you know the winter time's over. There's nothing like seeing guys practicing baseball.
I would challenge the winter thing when I look out the window upstairs. But
but you know it's coming now because the players are at spring training. Once pitchers and catchers report, you're good.
Speaking of baseball, came across a wonderfully heartwarming story yesterday while online. 17-year-old Wesley Johnson, who hails from St. Thomas, has been battling heart complications all of his life for the last 3+ years on a waiting list to get a heart transplant. And his body, sadly, is shutting down now, and doctors have told him that he has very little time left.
Oh, man.
Terrible story. Wesley is a huge Toronto Blue Jays fan, and his dying wish is to get to Dunedin to see his favorite team play while he still can.
Amazing.
And Jamie Campbell, a friend of the show and, of course, host of Blue Jay Central on Sportsnet, got wind of this story, drove to Wes's house in St. Thomas to meet his parents, spend some time, and then, of course, doing what Jamie does best and very quietly. And I think we got a nice picture that Derek's going to throw up on screen. There it is. You see Jamie with Wes. So Jamie throws his support and his celebrity behind this fundraiser to help get Wes down to Dunedin through a GoFundMe, which has done exceptionally well to this point. They're trying to get him there in the next couple of weeks, and I think we're going to put a link to the GoFundMe in the story. Sadly, though, Wes's parents both had to quit their jobs.
Man.
Because they wanted to spend time and look after Wes, which is what they're doing now. But it looks like Wes is going to get to fulfill his wish.
Oh, let's hope so. Maybe some people listening want to donate to that GoFundMe page. They can.
Absolutely.
It's a good cause. Jamie's a great guy. We spent some time talking with him earlier this year or last. I don't remember what year. Back before the World Series,
right? Yeah,
and it was a great conversation. And the thing that struck me about Jamie is just a humble guy, and I think we said it at the time. It'd be so easy for someone in that position to be an arrogant person because you sit in the outfield every night behind that desk. Fans are coming and wanting to meet you and get your autograph and talk to you. And he is the opposite of that and just a good human being. And he's had some cancer issues of his own.
Absolutely. And he'd probably be upset with us knowing that we're giving him props tonight. But pleased that we're getting the word out for Wes Johnson and his family. So we wish them all the best. And Wes, go Jays.
Right on.
Okay, to tonight's show, OSAP.
Yes.
Some cuts.
Colleges and universities in Ontario.
Yeah.
That's the big discussion. It's been a big discussion for the last couple of weeks. The Ford government's been making some announcements. Getting rid of the tuition freeze after many years in Ontario. So their colleges and universities are allowed to raise tuition a certain amount over the next few years.
Right.
They're injecting billions of dollars into the post-secondary education system, which has been dying for funding and saying as much for a long time, especially since the feds cut so many international student permits.
Yeah.
The revenue
And it was like $6 billion or something.
Yeah, it's like $6 billion. But the big change is the controversial one is the change to OSAPs.
Right.
We're going to let our guest tonight is Jack Cowan, one of our great reporters at the Trillium at Queen's Park.
Yeah.
He's going to talk in detail about it. But essentially, and I didn't really know all this until I read more about it yesterday and today, OSAP was, up until now, was mostly grants. So up to 85% of an OSAP student assistance was grant money, which means you didn't have to repay it.
Absolutely.
and up to 25% were loans. They're going to change that now to where the max amount of grants can be 25% of it. The rest is going to be a loan.
Yeah.
So for a person who's on OSAP from this year to next year, that's going to be thousands of dollars in difference. And so there's a lot of uproar among students, obviously, who are concerned, especially because it's going to hit lower income students the hardest.
Of course.
Right? And there was some press conferences yesterday. Obviously, the Canadian Federation of Students is all over this. Jack is on top of this story as much as anyone. He's going to join us tonight and kind of bring us up to speed on everything that's happening.
Premier Doug Ford has been getting an earful lately from a lot of college and university students. They're not happy about the province's latest changes to post-secondary education, especially the newly announced overhaul to OSAP that will cost a lot of Ontario students thousands more dollars per year. Here to help us understand all of the changes and what they'll mean for current and future students is Jack Howen, one of our Queen's Park reporters at the Trillium. Jack, good as always to see you. Welcome to Closer Look.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
All right, Jack, we're going to talk a lot tonight about OSAP, but before we do, let's start with a bit of a history lesson, if we can. For quite a few years now, tuition has been frozen at Ontario's post-secondary institutions. When did that start, and why did it continue for so long?
Yeah, this was one of the early Ford government's populist moves back when when the premier was more concerned with college campus issues. But yeah, it was 2019. He lowered tuition by 10% and then froze it there. And then universities and colleges promptly turned to international students to fill that financial gap, which they had been doing beforehand, but they really ramped it up because they can charge those students whatever they want. And so they printed money with international students. And then the government, the federal government, that is, tightened the caps there. And triggered an immediate crisis for higher education financially, and that's where we find ourselves now.
Thanks for that, Jack. Even when so many international students were coming to Ontario during those years, were colleges and universities lobbying the government saying, you still need to help us out here by allowing us to raise tuition for domestic students?
Yeah, I mean, that never really stopped. Speaking as someone who ran a student newspaper,
yes.
Universities always seem to be in a bit of a cash crunch and always seem to have a lot of money for other things at the same time. But yeah, it's an easy argument, right? Like, education is a public good, and there are examples certainly of universities being starved, and there's the whole issue of associate professors, the rise of associate professors and the lack of tenure track positions. Mm-hmm. Depending on how you look at it, yeah, universities are either very flush or struggling, and honestly, having merits on both sides.
So that takes us to this month, Jack. The announcement from the Ford government, that they're going to unfreeze tuition. So there's going to be some increases over the next few years, and then they're injecting about $6 billion into the post-secondary system. Can you break down those two announcements? What do they mean?
Yeah, so students will see their tuition go up by whichever is less, 2% per year, or the average rate of inflation, and that runs for 3 years. And then in addition to that, the $6.4 billion that you mentioned that the province is injecting into higher education will largely go towards funding in-demand programs, as well as a pretty significant bump to per-student funding.
So, Jack, how did schools react? I assume they're relieved, especially after losing so much revenue from the cuts as it related to international students.
Yeah, we were hearing a lot of chatter beforehand about how there was a big win coming for higher education, that lobbyists and stakeholders in the sector were really excited about what was coming, and certainly billions of dollars was very exciting for them. They reacted as such. It was a little bit dampened because of the changes to OSAP, and because nobody really wants to gloat about how much money they're getting when a lot of students are going to be facing higher bills.
Yeah,
so there's a PR balance to strike there for universities.
Yeah, let's get to that. That's the key issue of the show, Jack. The OSAP overhaul is a big change for students. And if I understand it right, about $700 million a year out of those billions that the Ford government announced is actually going to come from OSAP. So there's going to be a big change in the amount of OSAP assistance that used to be grants is now going to be loans. Can you explain to us what's the change?
Yeah, that's right. So currently, the maximum proportion of grants to loans is 85-15. So you can get up to 85% as grants. That's going to flip to maximum of 25% grants with the rest loans. So at the end of the day, students are going to have to repay a lot more.
Yeah, and then obviously then this change is going to hit lower income students or people who need this assistance more than students, for example, whose parents can pay their tuition or who they can pay their own tuition. It's a big difference for them.
Yeah, that's right. And the government did say that they are going to beef up assistance for low income students. But obviously some will be affected, and it depends on what exactly that beefing up entails and what exactly you define as low income. And, you know, if some middle to low income, they could potentially be facing the brunt of this change.
Jack, what are students saying? What's their reaction been?
Yeah, the CFS, the Canadian Federation for Students, is not happy. Again, it's that balance. You know, they say it's welcome funding for the sector, but you know, they're shaming the government for balancing some of this on the backs of students. They're saying that you know, education is a public good. Funding education for students will lead to a whole host of societal benefits and shouldn't be strictly looked at as the money in, money out equation.
It is a staggering amount, though. I think it was from a column I read in the Toronto Star. If I'm right here, Jack, because they're going to get such fewer amount of those dollars are going to be in grants and more in loans, this could cost a student on OSAP about $4,700 more a year next year as compared to this year. Is that the way you understand it too?
Yeah, I haven't done that calculation personally, but yeah, when you look at the drastic decrease in the potential amount of grants, yeah, that rings true.
Jack, I understand that the Premier's phone has been blowing up and hearing directly from quite a few of these students. What are they saying, and how has he reacted to those calls?
But yeah, he said he's received some pretty nasty messages, but also some very professional ones who are upset about the changes. He said, controversially, he said he was looking through his phone and looking at these messages and saying, I'd hire this one, I wouldn't hire this one, I'd hire this one, not this one. I'm not sure that the students sending him expletive-laden rants would want to work for him, but, you know, there you have it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's similar concerns. It's right. It's you know, students facing hundreds or thousands of dollars more during a time when rent is crazy, groceries are crazy. I don't need to go through all that.
Yes.
It's goes against the government's affordability-focused agenda.
Mm-hmm. Jack, is the Premier's phone FOIable? Has anyone ever tried to get these text messages?
Yes, that is a major battle that I think Global News is currently engaged in.
Oh, great. Okay. We're not on the back of that. It's just global?
Yeah, I believe so. But if they win, that could open up a whole host of interesting things.
It's interesting. When the Premier says things like this, I think he said during the press conference yesterday, it's not a God-given right to take taxpayers' money was one of his messages to students. How do those types of comments land?
Resonate, yeah.
How do they land when people hear those? What's the reaction to those?
I mean, I haven't spoken to a lot of students, but I can guess that wouldn't be particularly thrilled with that. I mean, it's like it comes down to how you view higher education, right? Like Doug Ford has been very explicit that in his view, the point of higher education, he said in so many words, is to help you find a job. You know, you can make an argument that having a well-informed populace that can think critically is a worthy goal in and of itself, and you know that maybe that is actually more true to the idea of universities historically and as a whole. But you know that doesn't change the fact that we need people to build houses, and that is precisely what the Premier is laser focused on. I'm sure students would argue to the detriment of many other things. Obviously,
it is billions in new spending. Even if you take away the part from OSAP that they're going to take from OSAP, it's still billions in new spending over the next 4 years. Do you get a sense of where that's going to come from in the budget, what might get cut?
No, but we'll be finding out very soon. It's going to be a really tough budget. I don't want to dodge your question, but no, I don't have any.
Yes, you do. Every time you come on, Jack, you try to dodge my question.
Well, I've learned from the best.
Touche.
That's right.
But it's like I said, he's very affordability focused. He's been promising tax cut since before I was elected.
Yeah.
But hospitals are starved. Higher education is slightly less starved now. But there are big fires all across many major parts of Ontario's finances, and it's really tough to get everyone the help they need.
Jack, before we let you go from what looks like a movie screening room, is there anything that we didn't ask you tonight that we should have?
The combination home office and movie screening room, yes. I think we covered it. Doug Ford has been really explicit in why he's doing this, which is that too many kids are taking basket weaving courses and frittering away taxpayer money, and we're not seeing return on investment that we need to see. So this is his goal to change that, and we'll see how big the pushback actually is. So far, there hasn't been any organized push, or at least major organized pushback, but both opposition parties have come out swinging against it and urging the government to reverse course and restore OSAP to the way it was.
All right. Good stuff. For the record, both Frisco and I achieved A+ in basket weaving.
Yes.
Make some popcorn, enjoy the movie, and thanks for this, Jack, from the Trillium and Toronto. There's Jack Cowan. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I will say this. I hate getting old, but I wouldn't want to be 18 years old trying to figure out what I want to do, and more importantly, how am I going to pay for it?
Yeah, and in the ever-changing world we're living in, like changes by the day, by the hour, what's going to be a profession that's still going to exist in the next 5 years? Like, really, this is the stage we're at.
It's a fair question.
The way how rapidly AI is evolving, it's a critical question. What actually, like, we're still going to need skilled trades, of course, but are we going to need some of the other things that we've had for so long that technology is going to be able to do for us?
You'll still need doctors, lawyers.
For sure.
Podcast hosts.
Oh, yeah. These podcast
producers,
hosts and producers. That's the last job standing for sure. Yeah, I'm sure. But imagine, like, so I think what Jack said at the end is true. Whether this is the right decision or the wrong decision, the Ford government is putting pressure on students even more than ever to make sure that what you're going to go into is going to give you some employment on the other side. Yeah. Because now you're going to have if you're on OSAP, you're going to have thousands of dollars of more debt to pay off per year than you ever did.
Well, what was the number? 4,700?
4,700 potentially, right? Yeah. So, if you're in engineering school, for example, okay, it's probably a safe bet. But I did a liberal arts degree when I left high school. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life.
No.
And it's just a different world now. And I was lucky to get into journalism while I was in university, working at the campus paper, like Jack did, like he mentioned. Yeah. It's kind of the pathway for a lot of us. But I had no idea at 18, let alone at 16, at 18, at 19, I had no idea what I was going to do.
We still don't know.
I'm 50. I still have no idea what I'm going to do. It's a bit of a disaster. So I don't envy them. It's a much more difficult decision. And I feel like, and I've talked about this with other parents my age, I feel like our kids have to make that decision so much quicker than we ever did. None of my friends knew what they were doing at age 17. Nope. None of them did. We're all old now. So yeah, it's a very interesting debate that's going on. I'm sure there will be a lot more discussion about, how students will protest this, how opposition parties will react to it. But the bottom line is tuition is going to go up a little bit every year.
Yes.
There's going to be billions of dollars more in spending to colleges and universities, but people who are on OSAP assistance are going to be hit the hardest. And that's kind of where we stand.
It's a shame. All right. Closer look at villagemedia.ca. That is our email address. By all means, reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and sign up at closerlookpodcast.ca. For Derek Turner, executive producer of this evening's program, and Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Thanks for your time, as always. Let's do it again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, right here on Closer Look.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.